Especially you. You're on a whole different level. You don't really care.
No, give 2 fucks.
You talk to the wall if you got to.
I had a conversation with that tree outside before you got here for about 30 minutes.
I know you're joking, right? But I don't doubt it.
Said it was kind of hot for December.
It's a little warm.
I had to take the blanket I took off of him and bring it back inside and get back to Apollo.
God.
Welcome back to Unwoken, the number 1 podcast in the world for young conservative media. That's a fact. It's based on my facts.
It's the only fact that matters. It's my fact.
Bingo. Listen to the man. Here with my boy Trevor Ardoin. Look, we did one the other. This is the second podcast I ever did was with you, and we did it sitting on that freaking countertop right there, and we had those little. Where's the stand at? Yeah, we had this little thing.
That's how you do it.
And we had to lean over and talk.
That's awesome. I think it's fantastic. Good for you, man.
And we had no desk at the time. Then we upgraded to a smaller desk that came apart. And then now we got big desk.
And you're almost outgrowing it already. It's not cluttered, but, you know.
I like it, man.
It's almost time to get some shelving on the wall.
Yeah. I just want a big old mural of me wrestling a bear.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, whenever you exit my house.
That reminds me of Dodgeball, where he's got the
wrestling the bull by the horns. Yeah, White Goodman.
That's awesome.
I just haven't found an artist that fits my artistic vision yet.
Whatever, man.
It'd be a beautiful painting, if you ask me.
If that's what you believe, dude, go for it.
Roll Cajuns. Oh, man. Yeah, so T-Rev and I, we've been friends for 21 years. In between there, sometimes we fought a little bit, but
sometimes it wasn't so great.
Yeah, sometimes it wasn't so great, but maintained it for a long time. And today we're going to be diving into some, like we did with Alex. That, by the way, that podcast with Alex, again, dude, man, that was balls to talk about what you talked about. And today we're going to do another one that takes a shitload of balls to actually talk about, because, you know, we're kind of on this push now to help people out. You know, I've been noticing a lot of different things with people now, man. It's, you know how we talked about the last time, people who post on their social media, oh, don't text me, don't call me, this and that. They just want the attention seekers. Mm-hmm. That's not the people we're talking to today. The people we're talking to are the ones who are behind the scenes, not saying anything, playing off like you're all right, and then you're not, because that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, and then there's other people like myself. I don't post anything anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I use social media as an escape.
Yeah.
Because some people post everything in their life, and I think it's hilarious. And then other times it's just like Facebook, right? I have it just specifically for dumbass videos. Mm-hmm. I think they're hilarious. Same as TikTok. Like, I'm not out here fucking dancing in TikTok. I just think some of the videos are hilarious.
I'm not dancing in my TikToks. I'm having fun with my TikToks.
I don't doubt it. I just think some of it's ridiculous, right?
Oh, I thought it was a ridiculous concept to begin with.
I didn't have it for a long time. I refused to get it. I was just like, this is stupid.
So did I, dude. I got it for the first time 2 months, in October.
Mine's been a little bit longer. Blake was like, because Blake was sending me videos from it, right? And I couldn't watch them, but for 2 seconds or something. And eventually I was just like, you know what, I'll get it. I'll see what it's about. And it was fantastic for a while.
Well, my buddy goes, man, you're always posting crazy-ass Snapchats and funny Snapchats. He goes, why not utilize TikTok and have a chance at making money doing that instead?
Can you not make money on Snapchat? Is that not a thing?
I think you have to get to a certain point to where you get to that subscription thing. But I think that's big. Like, that might take millions to probably get on there. And this podcast's budget doesn't fit that yet. We just hit 1,000. Oh, this is actually the first show since we hit 1,000 subscribers, baby. Thank you very much. Y'all are fucking awesome. We love you. Now, if you haven't subscribed, this is the first time I'm ever going to say this. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button. That's all you have to do, baby. That's the first time I ever used that line.
Hell yeah.
We'll have to put that little bell too. That whenever you hit ding ding, click. Yeah, fuck that. I ain't putting that.
You should, man. Why not?
Oh, but if I didn't do a good enough job for them to subscribe in the first place, then maybe I shouldn't put a ding.
I mean, we talked about it. I still haven't subscribed.
Yeah, you haven't even made an account.
No. No, man. If it ain't free, I'm not doing it. I get mad enough that, like, I got to pay for fucking Spotify and stuff.
I don't see. They were talking to me about putting my stuff on Spotify.
Do it.
I think I'm gonna do that. My main goal is to hit that 1,000 mark first. Once I hit that,
Now it feels kind of real.
it's been feeling real ever since I saw the chart, the growth.
Okay.
Ever since I started seeing, actually after month 2, whenever I really started getting into it, and then it's become an obsession for me.
Yeah.
And Mom said the other day, because I came to an epiphany, bro. She walks in, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still up working on this. She goes, I ain't never seen you work as hard at anything in your life other than like this.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking. I always thought I wanted to play sports. In all reality, in football, I was just good at knocking people the fuck out. I didn't work as hard as I could have worked to get to that point. I was good at it, but I didn't work my ass off like I could have. And then until I started doing this and actually working myself out to exhaustion to where I pass out on the floor.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works, where you're willing to go to a different level for stuff that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you liked football and basketball and stuff, but are you willing to go there for it? And I don't think you could have answered that, yeah. At the time, maybe so.
Maybe,
right? We're
maybe
like,
so.
yeah, I'm willing to, but, like, I'm going to cut a couple corners. I'm going to do a couple of things where it's like, I'm going to do the deal.
If it's looking good and doing this, that's what hey, bro, I ain't missing the barbershop.
Oh, man. I was in quarantine before I came in, so I couldn't go. My hair's all nappy right now. It's not very pleasant.
I thought it looked like you got cut.
No.
You still got that hairline's still coming down though, brother.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, there you go, man.
It's not terrible.
See, I think my chest hair got a 3rd layer.
You got some chest hair.
Cause build a. I got a freaking. Hey, look, I don't need a blanket. That's why I'm always warm during the winter. Look, that's how he fixes his bed.
He's struggling.
Oh no, he's gonna get it. And he smiles while he does it too.
Animals are hilarious, man.
Dude, he thinks he's human. I'm telling you.
I mean, if that's all you've been around is humans, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We figured out if he had a voice, it'd be like that Shrek 3 kid voice that says, I love you, daddy. Do the roar.
Do the roar.
So, what we're going to talk about today, man, we talked about this last night. We didn't touch up on it a lot the last time, which is what we tried to aim to do, but we got caught up in telling some great stories that will always be private.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. But, yeah, you can't see that video. But it was an awesome video. But today we're going to be talking about, recovery in a sense, because Kylan came on the show, talked about it. You came on that first time, too. You were the first person to come on to talk about it.
Yeah, we didn't dive real deep in it
either. We didn't really dive deep.
We just kind of touched on it at the time. It's still fun. I like talking about that stuff. You know what I mean? It's one of the things that I'm pretty passionate about.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back while you talk about it, because...
Well, you're going to have to ask me some questions.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to ask you some questions, but whenever...
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, I want to know, how do I put this in... Whenever you realized that time, what was the moment that you realized that I'm not right now, something's not going right in my life, to where I need to get help?
So the first real time, right, is one of the first times that I actually ran out of money, like completely out of money, right? And I'm at work detoxing like crazy, and I just left work and I ran to my parents' house, and I grabbed a handful of Excedrin migraine because I didn't have anything else. I was like, something's got to work, right? I threw back like 2 handfuls of it, just trying to fix where I was at. And it didn't work, and I ended up asking for help that day. Go to a detox because I wasn't bad enough for treatment, right? And I need a detox. That's it, you know? And
Is that a thing?
what?
They say you're not bad enough for...
No, I was justifying everything in my head.
Oh.
I need to go somewhere, but
Yeah.
and then I ended up going to a meeting that day and then going into detox, and you know, I ended up leaving early from there.
So what's detox like on what you were on?
You ever had the flu?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
feel
you-
like you have the flu, right? You have like muscle aches. You tend to get some diarrhea in there.
Mm-hmm.
You're sweating.
Night sweats?
No. You're just sweating, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold all day long.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few times where I got in the bathtub at the house and just turned the water as hot as it can go, and I would just sit there with like my face in the water and just my mouth and stuff open, you know. Big ass jacket in the summertime, and then you gotta strip everything off
Yeah.
and then put it all back on and then take it off, and you're sweating the entire time you're doing it, right? And the thing is, right, like my mind's going 1,000 miles an hour, but I know how to fix it. You know what I mean? Like I know I can just go get some,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna fix it instantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's up, Mo? And you know what I mean? Like I know I shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's burned me before, but I know how to fix it. I can fix it. Am I making noise?
Oh, a little bit.
Okay, my bad.
You good,
it's
bro?
just a nervous tick.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You could hit that deer if you want to.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
That
I'll be fine.
damn deer.
But but then you fast forward a little bit, and what got me to that point, right? I started doing like IOP and therapy, and none of it was working, right? But I wasn't at a point where I could be honest with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was still justifying and rationalizing some of the stuff that I was doing. Still getting high, going through all these things, and it got to the point where I had this cycle, right? I don't want to talk about all of it because
Yeah,
other stuff, right?
yeah. Statute of limitations.
So I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go that.
No, not that. But I'm just saying Scott Davis' statute of limitations.
Sure. I don't know, but right, I got to a point where I was doing some things. It was just a hamster wheel going on, right? And what it looked like was go to work like half-ass late,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wasn't taking care of myself, and I wanted to stop. That's all I wanted to do was stop. Like that's it, right? But I couldn't, right? Because if I stop, I'm gonna go through detox, and then this mind of mine's gonna go fucking nuts. It's gonna go nuts, and I don't want that, right? So I'd go to work, half-ass late, not taking care of myself, get off of work, go do some extracurricular activities, sometimes, maybe, and then score, go home, put a gun to my mouth, and cry myself to sleep. That's what I did about the last 3 months, right? And I just picture my mom finding me, and that's what kept me from doing it. Like my dad would have found me, whoever else, right? But I couldn't have my mom, and I'd wake up and do the exact same thing over and over and over again, and you know what I mean? Like I wanted it all to end, but I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I couldn't, right? And then I got a fantastic phone call from the Youngsville Police Department that they had some questions, right? And I couldn't just go right in, so I had to go do a couple other things before, right? I took my dad's truck instead of mine because I knew what truck I had and the whole nine. But I knew at that point, whenever they called, that it was over, right? Like I didn't have to do it anymore, and it was going to be over, and I was going to be okay. But little did I know that was only the start of what was to become. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't the first time going to jail. It wasn't the first time like trying to get sober or whatnot, right? But I think it was the first time that I wanted to be sober without just the consequences going away, right? I didn't know what that was going to look like. I didn't know what any of it was going to be, but something clicked, right? Where I knew I was going to be okay. And it was just that humility without humility, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're having some consequences, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is, and I think we're going to be all right. I think it takes a little bit for different people, you know what I mean?
That's different to hear, you know, whenever you're sitting there with the gun, you know.
Yeah.
And one thing that it makes me think about is what we were, I don't know if we talked about this yet, the CTE. Oh, we did talk about that last night.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids nowadays, man, and I'm going to make it a point to kind of be a voice of it.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, you played a lot of football too, so I think it's...
Took a lot of concussions, man. So it's definitely, now they're paying attention to it, and somebody asked me the other day, would you let your kids play? Not until 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
You see all these people using painkillers, man. And I'm one of those people, look, I don't smoke weed. Never been my forte. I mean, I have, but it's just not been my forte. I like my beer, my whiskey. But I think you should legalize it instead of giving people painkillers and Oxycontin. If we didn't learn anything from the pharmacist, I mean, dude, that was a damn good show. You saw it on Netflix?
Mm-hmm. I watched a good bit of it. It was good.
My buddy's dad, actually, the guy who came in on from Purdue rep
Mm-hmm.
that was on the show, he came to the restaurant a lot. I'm not gonna say his name because he kind of, but yeah, I didn't. Everybody's like, that's this guy from Purdue Pharma. I'm like, that's just my boy. It's my boy. I'm like, no, have you seen The Pharmacist? Said, no, check it out. I saw him. He's now a counselor for addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he left as soon as he found out what that drug did. What do you think, in your opinion?
I think they knew what it was doing.
Oh, dude, for sure.
They all knew what it was doing.
They know exactly what it's doing. But what would you say is, I know down south, like in Louisiana, especially around Lafayette,
Mm-hmm.
Roxy's are probably the worst in terms of addiction.
Yeah, down here, yeah. Yeah, like where I'm at, it's a bunch of methamphetamine, man.
Like glass pipes and all that.
Yeah, or I mean IV, whatever, but methamphetamine's the big thing over there, right? There is some heroin and Oxycontin and shit like that, right? But for the most part, you talk to people, it's alcohol and methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you're at out there is, how many people do you have living around you?
What do you mean by living around me?
So where do you have a camper out there?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I live in a townhouse.
Oh, a townhouse?
Yeah.
Oh shit. So my buddy, I talked to the other day, he's out there in El Paso.
I'm not that far.
Yeah, you're not that far.
I'm still like 4 hours, 5 hours away from El Paso.
Really? El Paso's what, like 12 hours away from here?
No, El Paso's like 16 or so.
Oh,
El Paso's
shit.
far as shit.
Damn.
Yeah, El Paso's far, dude. I'm still like 400 miles away from El Paso.
Shit, you're in Midland mainly.
Yeah, well, I live in Odessa, yeah.
Dude, have
Same
you gone to a football game out there yet, high school?
No.
Dude, I'd love to go to Ratcliffe Stadium and see Permian play. Just freaking love to go do
Come.
that. I'll fly out there, bro. You gonna pick me up at the airport?
Absolutely. We'll go to a game.
I'm down. I need to get me a Booby Miles shirt. Dude, that movie's still so great. You think about it, that was the first, spoiler alert, the first first sports movie you see your team that you're going for doesn't win.
Yep. They've got a nice stadium out there too,
Dude,
man. It's
Ratcliffe? Oh yeah, Ratcliffe's fucking insane.
I don't know if they're at Ratcliffe anymore. I think they moved it, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's on the north side of Odessa. It's not even by the school.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're a little ways away.
Well, I thought it was always a little bit away.
It might have been. And it still could be, but it looks a lot nicer than it would have in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, for sure, because they have
You know what I
a little mountain scene around it.
There ain't no fucking mountains.
Not
around.
mountain, but it's like a little.
There ain't no damn hills in Odessa.
Well,
It's
they
flat.
have it. They have it built up to where it looks like it.
Yeah, That might be for aesthetics purposes, but
Yeah. Oh, that's all it is, aesthetics. Oh, dude. Hey, if you think that I think there'd be mountains in Odessa, dude.
outside of it, you go like 2 hours away, and it's nothing but hills and stuff. It's actually really nice.
2 hours east or west?
More west. But if you go like 2 hours south, you're in the hills. You go north, not north, because north you're into Lubbock, but you go like northwest, you're into like Carlsbad and stuff, and you get a little bit outside of Carlsbad. It's actually kind of nice.
All right. So another question for you. How long did it take you to finish your program?
What do you mean by finish?
Not finish your program, but like, how many times did you go to treatment?
Technically twice. Technically.
And how long was your last?
The last treatment center?
Yeah.
Long as shit. I went to Victory here in Lafayette for 35 days, and then I left from there, and I went to this place called Burning Tree, and I was there for 10 months and 3 weeks.
Dang.
And then once you get out of their inpatient program, you've got to do another year of aftercare.
It's good though.
Yeah. I mean, it was good for what it was. You know what I mean?
It's like Kylan telling us he was there for what, a year and a half in Missouri.
Something like that. Kylan was there for a while.
Where was yours? Where was Burning Tree at?
So at the time, you went to Elgin, which is just outside of Austin.
All right.
And then I did 3 months at that place, and then they move you from there. This is at the time. It's not like this anymore. Then they moved you to Kaufman, Texas, which is just east of Dallas. Wait, it's near Tyler-ish. It's like an hour away, an hour west of Tyler. It's like in between it. And then I did whatever the rest of that is, 7 months ish.
So here's the $1 million question I have for you.
Okay.
All right. For my birthday, you bought me 2 beers.
Uh-huh.
What is that like being at a bar, knowing that being around people, especially you're going to see people that you know?
Right.
What's it like for you internally? I know whenever we're hanging out at the property, me and Blake, Jordo drinking, it's normalized.
Yeah.
Now. But what's it like actually going around a bunch of different people that are now drinking?
I don't do it often, right?
Yeah.
That's not something that I like to do, if that makes sense, right? Like, I don't like to go there because it's not it's like stocks. I'm not interested in it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't do for me anything, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty reserved, right? So I don't like to go do that type of stuff, right? But it depends where I'm at on like it's still fucking weird to say, but like on my spiritual level, right? Like if I'm doing the things for me, it is, right? Because that's not the way I came up. You know what I mean? Granted, I'm looking at that picture and like I made my confirmation, I did all these things, right? But I never believed in it, never, right? Like I did that. I thought I was gonna get some money from it. Like I'm a sick individual, you know what I mean? So I made my confirmation thinking I'm gonna make some money. You know what I mean? And I could go do what I wanted to do. And I was pissed off when they didn't, right? Because it's like, oh, it's graduation, you get money. But like, it's a fucking... I'm supposed to become a soldier for God, right? And I had no desire to actually do that. And, but back to what you were asking, right? It's all contingent on my spiritual condition. If I'm right with God and I'm doing the next right thing for my sobriety, then I'm okay doing it, right? But if I'm not, I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. You know what I mean? There's some other things that I could be doing to create that connection. And like last night, I felt fine. I was going to Morgan's deal. I knew I wasn't going to be there long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go show my face. I have a reason for being there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
An
absolutely.
appropriate reason for being there. But if I'm just going to the bar by myself, I'm in trouble. If I'm just showing up to a bar, like, oh, I'm going to have a glass of water, because you've seen what I drink whenever I go, give me a glass of water.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna end up drinking.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I'm pretty. It's a lot of willpower, if you ask me. Especially dealing with friends like you have.
It's no willpower at all. I've tried to will my way into sobriety multiple times, man. I couldn't do it.
So what is it if it's not willpower?
It's a God deal.
God deal.
A God deal. we talk about sometimes, right, that it's 99% God, 1% me. I have to do very little. Very little. I trust and rely upon a God of my understanding, right? And whatever you want to say, right? But there's some things that I have to do, right? I can't lock myself in a closet and pray for food. You know what I mean? Like, the food's not coming. I got to go outside and make the goddamn food. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with this. I've got to trust in him, right? But then there's some things that I have to go out there and do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, meetings is right? People hear like, oh, they're going to meetings. That's a fucking tiny, tiny, tiny little piece of what we do, right? Sponsees. And what am I doing outside of the meetings, right?
Keeping yourself busy.
Keeping myself busy, and like I'm trying to practice some principles in my life. You know what I mean?
So have you developed new principles that you found?
I have principles today. There was no principles in my life before, man. I just did what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like today I do what I want to do, but it's with purpose.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what's one of your founding principles that you...
I have to be honest. I have to be. Right? Because if I lose that honesty piece, I'm fucked. Right? As soon as I start lying, right? It's not like I don't lie anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not a perfect individual, but I have to correct those immediately. Right? And if I don't, then I'll just go down this path where I'm lying and lying and lying, and then I spin myself in a web, and then the mind starts going again. And I know what's going to make... It's not going to make any of it better, right? There's no... But I'll justify myself into saying, you know what, if I can drink, all of it will go away. And then I'll create myself a whole nother set of issues, and that fixes it for me, right? It fixes it for me. Doing dope and drinking will fix it. It's not going to fix anything. But that's what my mind will tell myself.
It's interesting how... Because I remember I went to Townsend for a family member, like family time whenever Kylan was there. Okay. They had invite your friend, some family, so me and Hunter went over there with him, Miss Donna, and they were explaining all this stuff about the dopamine levels and serotonin.
Yeah, I don't get into all that shit.
You see, I guess that wasn't the right place for him either, because his I'm not gonna speak for him, but you know, y'all two both now. I don't want to say you both rely on God, but it's like y'all have found a new understanding or a more the higher power to not give you strength, but it's kind of like you have a feeling of a presence that you can do it. Yeah, you can go through that because you know there's a bigger purpose for you.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do something. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things that I'm willing to do, right? I wasn't willing to do very much, and I get to be willing today to say, you know what? I did something different, right? I started trusting in something, and it did something for me that I can't explain.
See, I'm not the best Catholic, and I look at that picture, dude. I am not the best Catholic by any means. If I went to confession, I'd have to probably pay the priest like a therapist because he'd be there for a while. I mean, look, I still believe in my Catholic roots. I do. I love my religion. I love how it's very traditional, conservative, and old school.
I think it's awesome. I think that's great.
That's actually one of my favorite things about it is how traditional it is. Now, can I say I'm a good Catholic? Probably not. But can I say do I believe I'm a good Christian? Well, yeah. I do believe that because, one, I believe that whenever we go, here's my belief system, and I hope I'm right. I'm probably wrong. Whenever we go, we're going up there. See, Catholics believe in purgatory. Not a lot of other religions believe in purgatory. I believe that whenever we go up there, the one man you can't BS is standing in front of that gate, and he's going to ask you a question. He's going to say, tell me, do you believe that you were a good person? The one man you can't BS. Can you honestly say about yourself that you were a good person?
I think that's fantastic to believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being sarcastic or anything. Oh, yeah. I think I love hearing other people's beliefs, right? Because everybody's got a slightly different belief. Even Catholics, man. If you can have a conversation with them, but not a lot of people are willing to go like kind of deep into it. You know what I mean? Like, most people, they're not willing to do that because I don't think they
They don't want to question anything.
No, and I think it's great to question it.
I think it is too.
I think we should be questioning it.
There's no way in hell that we're the only life forms in this universe.
No.
And that means there's a lot of different things now that can come into factor. Like what if the Buddhists are right? You know, what if we come back reincarnated or something?
I think we're all right. I think all of them are.
We could be. Like the craziest thing I ever heard, your birthmark. What if the reason that we come out of the womb crying is because we're remembering our past life and everybody we're leaving behind?
Could be.
And once we get done with that, we start off our new life. Like that's a crazy concept to think about.
I mean, I think that could be what deja vu is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see something on TV from fucking China or something, some random place, and it's like, man, I feel like I've been there. Knowing damn well I ain't ever been to China.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody is correct in their beliefs, right? Like the Crusaders, right, was a bunch of Christians who went to war over Christianity, right? And then we get mad over the Muslim people for doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then we talk about, doing things, right, the way we should be doing it. And a lot of it's like, well, if you want it, go take it back, right? And that's all the Muslims are doing. Some of them, not all of them, right?
Not suicide bombers and people like that coming to... Look, I'm a firm believer. I have a lot of friends who are Muslims. I have family in Jordan. So whenever I was on my tirade about, let's fucking end this shit, all we got to do is drop one. And, you know, I had to remember, I didn't realize at the time I had family in Jordan. They moved here, obviously, but that's still their home. They're saying, how can you say stuff like that? I said, look, I'm a firm believer that if a roach comes into your house, what are you going to do? Are you going to squish it, or are you going to capture it and let it go? I'm squishing a roach that comes into my house. Yeah.
But where there's one, there's multiple too. You know what I mean? So,
and the Muslim, it's radical people. Look, I listen, like I told you the other night, I listen to Bill Maher a lot. He's an old school liberal. I was telling Jordan this. Old school liberal, man, we think completely differently on policies. 100% completely different. But the man, he said, we have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And he said, and he got a lot of heat for this, he said, Islam is the motherhood of bad ideas. And I was like, damn, okay.
Is it? Or is it the radical Islams?
He said it as a whole. Because he said you can't look at, you cannot poll. I think he said, and I'm going to have to look this up, but 73% of Muslims believe you should be punished for leaving the Muslim faith. Now, they also don't believe in, some of them still believe in throwing gay people off of buildings and shit like that. The majority. That was a poll. Now, do they believe in jihadism? A lot of them said no, but they still said there should be punishment. Like the Dutch cartoonist who made a little political cartoon mocking Allah in the Quran. I think 90% of them said that's punishable by death. Now, I could be wrong with some of those numbers, but I'm damn near close what it was. And I don't consider, look, I have friends who are Muslims, man. I don't consider them, I think they're some of the nicest people in the world. I mean, hell, dude, that's a faith that takes a lot of dedication.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's some extremists
in every religion.
Christians that are fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no religion is right. Christianity, Buddhism, nothing is right.
But it goes back to, right, whenever we made our confirmation, right? At the end of it, they say, now you have to go out and be a soldier for God, right? There's some people who probably took that and said, you know what? I'm a fucking soldier for God. I've got to kill somebody who doesn't believe in what I believe. You know what I mean? That would be the extremists. And I think that's what it goes to when people think of Islam and in the Quran.
But how many people kill in the name of Christianity?
I don't know.
Not a lot.
You sure?
It's not as much as jihadists.
Well, I mean, it's also a different culture there too, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Christianity for the most part, right? Is a new aged way of living. The English and us, you know what I mean? And some even in parts of Mexico, right? there's a lot of Christianity in these parts, and it's a little bit newer aged of living. Where over there, it's still third world, and I think that's I don't know, right? Because I've never been there, never lived there. I haven't done much studies, but from what it looks and from everything else, it's like it's a different way of living.
The extremist part, I'd say, is the Westboro Baptist Church for us.
I don't know what that is. Never even heard of it.
Those are the people from Topeka, Kansas, who protest dead soldiers' funerals. They hold the signs that say "God hates fags" and all that. I'll never forget this because I was watching a documentary on them because I was fascinated. How can you? They say they're doing it out of love. They say that technically by saying that you're doomed to hell for not believing the way we are, that's me saying I love you. And Russell Brand had 2 of them on his old show. And they came out with signs that said, "Fag Pip Brand." And he goes, "Well, clearly this is offensive." He goes, "Because you see where I'm from, fag means cigarette." But, yeah, he's like, it was a very good thing to watch. I might have to show you that. But they believe that technically America is a doomed nation because it allows gay people to get married. Now, look, I'm a traditional marriage kind of person. But if I was hanging around any of my friends who are lesbian, or if I was around somebody who was nice to me, who was a gay guy, if somebody bullied them, I'd never let anybody bully them like that.
No.
Ever. Won't stand for. But, I mean, what they're saying is they're protesting dead soldiers' funerals because they're fighting for a country that is tolerant of homosexuality. Dude, look, I can give 2 fucks who you wanna get me. I could care less. But they're saying we're doomed because of that. And here's where I draw a line, though. You can pick it. You can protest gay people's marriages and all that all you want. That's your freedom of speech. I support your right to do that. Do whatever. The moment you protest a soldier's funeral and you're stomping on the American flag in front of that, you know what they did? Guess what? They were protesting a black soldier's funeral. You know who showed up to block them from going close to that? The KKK. If the KKK hates you,
you got some issues. Well, no.
The KKK is blocking you from protesting a different race's funeral. You got some issues.
I was gonna say if they're saying you're bad, I was like, yeah, that's saying.
The KKK hates everybody.
Yeah, but right, I think where a lot of people get confused is where marriage was actually from. You know what I mean?
How so? Well, how did they get confused?
Well, they think it's it was supposed to be a religious deal of 2 people joining in love, right?
Now it's a governmental deal.
Through their religion. And now I think it's getting confused where it's a government deal where the government has to get involved, and it's gotten away from the traditional sense of what it was at the time.
You see, my mom and dad were barely allowed to get married in the church because Dad was Jewish. See,
yeah, my parents didn't get married in a Catholic church.
See, in the 50s or 60s, my parents would have had a cross burned in their yard.
Yeah,
that's how it was treated. I mean, my dad was adopted also, so we came back with the 23andMe as a Sicilian, Greek.
I haven't done that. My sister and them have. I'm not gonna do it.
I thought it was pretty freaking awesome, dude, because a lot made sense to me.
I think they just make it up.
The DNA test?
Oh, yeah. They just make that up. They just throw some stuff out there.
Look, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a lab on my plot in Scotland, all right? All right. I'm going to tell my armed guards, I'm taking over, dude. I'm taking over everybody's plot. I'm building a small army.
Good luck with that.
It's going to be full-on Game of Thrones.
Good luck. Let me know how that works.
I will. I'm going to find a dragon, too. My name him,
You ever thought about that? Why they have dragons everywhere and they've never found a dragon anywhere? But now they're coming out that's saying, like, dinosaurs used to have feathers and possibly wings, but none of that will stay.
Yeah, like velociraptors that they depict out in Jurassic Park weren't how velociraptors looked in real life.
No, and they don't actually know what they look like because half of the bones aren't really there. And they're just kind of like making it seem like something.
I remember they
So maybe a T-Rex actually looked like a dragon, and maybe there were people around when that was there.
could have been, but we wouldn't survive.
Well, who the hell would just create a dragon? Like, how did that just get created? And all of these countries have dragons on their flags.
That's a good question, man. I mean, shit. There's a possibility that everything that's been came up with or said has actually been there.
Could have been.
Actually, could have been there. So that's very interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the hell people came up with dragons. But then again, also, how the hell did people come up with a two-headed shark attack movie?
Maybe they seen one. There could have been. There's two-headed snakes. There's two-headed people. Like, that happens sometimes.
All right, let me give it a better analogy. A sharktopus.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Dude, is that
a movie? A Sharktopus?
Dude, I think Sci-Fi now is literally coming out with... They had Jersey Shore Shark Attack. They had people acting like the cast from Jersey Shore. Dude, you can tell. It's like Sharknado. Sharknado knew what it was doing. They knew they were about to make the stupidest movie in the world and make millions off of it.
I have never been interested in even starting any of those. There's
dude,
like 8 of them.
I saw the first one because we remember it was Shark Week, and they had that little thing because Shark Week over here is a big deal, folks. It is a big deal. We tailgate and we party for it. Every year it's tradition. We don't break tradition. I remember that one time that we had me, you, Johnny Abear, Blake, Trotter, Jordo, Kylan. Oh,
I don't remember that.
Dude, that was an old house. Oh, that was a hell of a party. And we were watching Air Jaws every time fucking Colossus would show up. We'd freaking high five each other, dude. It was freaking awesome.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, dude, it's an awesome party. Shark Week's awesome, man. Yeah, but Sharknado knew what they were doing. Saying, all right, well, we're going to make this low budget CGI movie about sharks getting caught in a freaking typhoon, being able to survive out of water and eat people's heads off, and then our main hero is going to be a guy with a chainsaw that cuts great whites out through the middle. It dives into a great white's mouth and comes out the middle with a chainsaw. That's going to be our main character, and his name's going to be Finn. Finn.
I've got the right idea, man.
Dude, it's like rappers nowadays. And I had Darian on. I'm like, dude, give me a dope beat. I'll say mustard for 3 minutes straight in different tones.
You ain't got to say it in different tones anymore.
It's like mustard, 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 mustard. That'd be a hit. Get you thinking about mustard now, though, don't.
Kind of.
I'm persuasive.
Could be.
All right, so what is the most challenging thing of the process of becoming sober?
It's a fantastic question. That was fantastic. It could either be 2 things, like figuring out the God idea, like what I actually believe in, right? And then figuring out who I am as a person, you know?
Rediscovering yourself.
Just discovering myself, right? I started doing some things at 12 years old. I never really got a chance to figure out who I was. You know what I mean? And the God idea, it wasn't a new concept to me, right? But doing things was a new concept for me, and figuring out, am I a Christian? Am I a Buddhist? Am I a Muslim? Am I Jewish? Right? Like, what am I? Or maybe I don't belong to a religious body. You know, if that makes sense at all.
It does.
And
sure.
You know, there's a lot of questions that go into that, because we have beliefs growing up that our family has and that our friends have, and just where we are in South Louisiana, right? There's just some natural beliefs for the most part in most people's families that are born and raised here, and questioning core beliefs that you've been raised with is a big thing, and not everybody's willing to do that.
I think we've gotten to a point, though, in this day and age, to where it can be a big thing. I remember when I was a little kid, I asked Mom, I said, Mom, well, if God created the earth, who created God? And she goes, it's a question for Father Vu. Rest in peace. Father Vu was awesome, dude. So one of the things I've come to realize myself, especially, a lot of people who are born again Christians, I've noticed this with them. Not any of my friends, but I've noticed whenever we get into that conversation, they say, so tell me, why is it that you believe in religion or Catholicism? I believe in traditional values that it teaches. I believe in the Roman Catholic Church, how it teaches. The new Pope, Pope Francis, I think he's more Episcopalian than he is Catholic because he's way more liberated, way more liberal. Hell, whenever my atheist sister tells me that she likes Pope Francis, I know he's not he's not a traditional Catholic. But it comes into question, well, all right, I find a lot of the born again, which I'm not going to mention names. Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of born again Christians who are very hypocritical because, and I understand it though. I understand where they're coming from because they're just now finding their spirituality, and they're very devout, and they have a very intimate relationship with God at that point. Once you become, especially in your older age, whenever you become a born again Christian.
I don't know. I don't have experience with it.
Well, I found like in people I've talked to, and I try to get some of them to come on the show because I question a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just, and I respect that. I question my own religion with certain things that we believe in. But the one thing that I talk to them about, atheists who I talk to, they said, how could you believe in something you've never seen before? I said, well, I've never saw the Big Bang either, even though there's scientific proof of it. I said, my main thing is it's all based on faith.
I mean, how can you believe in something that's not?
Faith is all. I said it comes down to one simple answer. All it is faith. That's what it is. And I have faith that there is a higher power up there, that whenever I get there, there's a guy with a beard. A beautiful individual with a beard that's welcoming. I believe in a merciful God.
Absolutely. I don't
believe in a like blasting down with the rage.
No.
I don't believe in that kind of God. Now, I don't want to say that because, the Bible in the book of Revelations teaches that. But
those were written by nothing but humans.
Exactly.
All of them were. You know what I mean?
So we're talking about that movie, The Cabin in the Woods.
But a lot of people get it confused too. Yeah.
I don't believe in that kind of. I believe my God's merciful.
Yeah.
I believe there is divine intervention in a lot of things. But I'm more of a person now that in my life, in my growth over these past few years, I say my prayers 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day. When I wake up in the morning, first thing I do before I even take a sip of water, because if I take a sip of water, that man was up on a cross for me, didn't have any water. Why should I drink water before I give him thanks? And I say my prayers before midnight if I'm going to sleep. Now, if I don't go to sleep and it's 12:01, I have to get out of bed, re-say my prayers just in case I don't wake up in the morning.
Okay.
That's my belief system.
Good for you. I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic. But it some things work for some people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
Some things don't work for others. And I think that's what's fantastic about it is we get to talk about these things. And that's what I was talking about. Like some people aren't willing to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm willing. I fucking love it.
So do I. I think this is the best, most interesting conversations you can have.
Oops.
Oh, you're good. Shit. It's the most interesting conversations you can actually have because it's one of those topics that nobody touches.
Well, in these born-again Christians and people who find some type of faith in something other than themselves later on in life, right? Like, what did you go through to get there, right? Like, what experience did you have that made you realize that you're not what the world revolves around? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what you see. You know what I mean? Whenever I'm going to leave here, I'm not going to know what you see or what you do. I only have my experience and see a world the way that I see it.
I could tell you what I'm going to do. listen back to this.
And start editing.
Yeah. But
You know what I mean?
so the hardest process is just still kind of the hardest challenge for you going through the process was still kind of different. There's many different scenarios in there that could be breaking down into subcategories.
Yeah, different times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I struggled with the God idea for a long time. And because I thought you had to have a religion behind it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was broken down to me through good sponsorship and things like that. And but I still didn't fully understand it. I still don't fully understand it, right? But I have a different conception today.
Yeah.
And that conception has changed to the last not quite 7 years yet, right? God willing, it'll be 7 years in March, but like it's changed a lot in that time. You know what I mean? And you know, I have to be willing to be okay with it changing, and that my ideas might change, and I have to be willing to try something different. You know what I mean?
I have another question for you.
Okay.
What do you think is causing the uproot in addiction in younger generations now? Is it access? Like more access to certain drugs?
No.
Upbringing, maybe?
No. I think part of it is people are more willing to admit certain things that they have issues, right? Where before, like our parents and even before that, right, there was a different level of manhood than it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there was a lot of people who drank themselves to death, that they're like, oh, that's just little Bobby on the corner drinking, that's just what he does. You know what I mean? That old school mentality of small town living. And it's not like that today. You know what I mean? You see a guy drinking on the corner, I'm more apt to stop and talk to him, right? I might not give him money, but I might have a conversation with him, you know, where other people, they're just like, oh, that fucking guy, you know? And then in today's society, it could be how easy it is to get things, but it's always been easy to get things, you know? It's never been difficult. And today it might even be harder with all these pharmaceuticals who got sued, so now they're having to back down on some of the stuff they're making, right? But now you're starting to get the fentanyl from China, and you know what I mean? Like it's coming in and it's different, right? But I also think people are just I think there's a lot of sobriety going around, and I think when you get two addicts and two alcoholics, or an addict and alcohol, whatever way you want to look at it, right? I think that breeds what we are as well.
It's fair evaluation there.
Yeah.
I think people are more open, for sure. That was interesting what you said, though, about the people. It's a lot easier, it's a lot harder now to get things. Because I thought about it for a second, about all the things you have to go through in order to get a prescription. And
I mean, it would still be easy to get a prescription, right? Like, I'm not saying it would be difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can say you have a sore throat, and they're gonna prescribe you something for it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, they're not making if I'm not mistaken, they're not making the quantities of stuff anymore, because, you know, there's the documentaries like The Pharmacist. Pfizer and all these other companies got sued a year or two ago over the opioid epidemic, right? So they're having to do some other measures to get people their opiates. You know what I mean? They couldn't just keep mass producing them like they were.
So what would you say what do you think about everybody now? There a lot of people more open about depression and anxiety. And before I tackle that, I'm going to give a little insight. All right. You know, struggling with head trauma is a big ordeal. Because every morning, you know, you don't know how you're going to wake up.
Okay.
You know, you're going to wake up either in a regular kind of state, or you're going to wake up and you're going to have a freaking migraine. And I never got migraines. Never had migraines in my entire life. until the age of like 24, 25.
Yeah, I've been having migraines for a while, but I've also had a few concussions in my life, even outside of sports.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But it's
But it wasn't a thing back then.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Like I told my buddy the other day, I said, man, these kids nowadays are gonna be all right. But there's a guy that was talking. I watched his it wasn't a TED talk, but he was talking about at a neurology conference. And he plays the Oklahoma drill, and it sees a kid just Pele another dude, and he's like, "That's the shit that pisses me off." And I thought about it. At first, I agreed with him. And then I thinking about it again. I'm like, he goes, "Cause that's not going to happen in football games." Well, you teach Oklahoma drill is mainly to see who's tougher, who's going to run through. Who.
But I also believe that like rugby has it the right way.
Rugby does have it the right way because you see,
because you weren't hitting somebody with your head without a helmet. You ain't doing it.
You ain't doing it. People ask me all the time. They said, "Well, dude, you probably got more concussions in rugby, didn't you?" I said, "No." I said, "Why the hell would I hit somebody with my head?"
Well, and now they're starting to make these helmets that are twice the size they used to be, with 3 times the padding, 4 times the padding, and now it's like,
But they've taken the precautions now. I mean, given if they had the rules now, I'd be expelled for a season.
Yeah, but so going back to the depression and anxiety,
because it ties in. It ties in. So, whenever you're dealing with stuff like that, yeah, dude, y'all were there with me whenever I went through everything that I did. And depression, the worst thing I did was go back to the KA house by myself and seclude myself from everybody. It was the worst thing you could possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
They had shifts at the KA house, dude. Like my Pledge brothers, they'd have shifts to come knock on the door. But the thing about depression is an anxiety. And I understand, dude. I understand because I feel it a lot. I mean, I do. I get anxiety, dude. I'm the happiest person in the world, but I make a decision, a conscious decision that whenever I wake up, today's the best day of my life. This moment right here, today is the best day of my life because I woke up a few hours ago.
Yeah. But I also believe, right, I think some people do have a serious chemical imbalance, right, where they need meds and stuff. But I think a lot of it is a lack of faith in something bigger than themselves. And, you know what I mean? I think there's in what I do, we talk about a spiritual malady, right, a spiritual disease. And I think that's a big part of it, right?
Can you go into detail that for us?
So when the spirit is sick, right? When I have essentially like a cancer of the spirit,
mm-hmm.
right? What does that do? That's going to drag you down, right? When my spirit's not right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In that little piece, right? So how do I fix that? How do I fix my spirit? Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I have to start seeking something bigger than myself to fix my spiritual stuff, right? And that's where the God idea comes in, right? And in today's world, there's a lot less people that are going to church seeking some kind, not even just church, right? Seeking some kind of spirituality, seeking something bigger than themselves, right? There's more people, maybe not more people who are atheists or agnostic,
mm-hmm.
but there's a lot more people who are willing to talk about that type of stuff in today's society, right? And a lot less people. I mean, the Catholic Church in Youngsville is still full, right? But there's a lot more people in the middle of all of that today than there was before who are just like, I don't. It's not that I don't believe, but it's not that I believe as well.
You don't believe in this way, this certain way.
No, not even just a way of just God in general, or a God in general,
mm-hmm.
right? They don't. It's not that they don't believe, right? But it's not that they do believe. This is just my beliefs, right?
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. This is my experience, right? Whenever I fixed my spiritual condition, when my spiritual condition was fixed, when I started believing in something bigger myself, and I started doing that 1%, get out of the fucking house, get off the dope, be willing to help somebody else, and do something that I enjoy to do, all of a sudden I'm not fucking depressed and wanting to put a gun to my mouth. You know what I mean? I'm willing to go to the bar with Scott when I don't want to, right? When I'm like, hey, I don't want to go home yet.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to go to the bar, so I'll go sit outside,
mm-hmm.
right? And I was okay sitting by myself. I'm fine. Cool. Bunch of people inside. Cool. Good for you. but I don't have to go inside.
Nope.
I can sit outside and be fine.
And I like sitting out. Dude, last night was a good.
It was fantastic for me.
I liked it, man. I like sitting outside.
That's what I get to do.
I like sitting outside of the bar anyway too. But I mean, it was good. It was a good time. But I want to circle back to something that you just said. Before I circle back to that, I wanted to ask you before I forget it. Have you sponsored somebody yet?
Yeah, I've got sponsees right now.
What was your first sponsee, like dealing with your first sponsee? What was that like?
He was in a place called Turtle Creek, and he didn't want to do anything. You know what I mean? It was more of by name of like, this is something that I need to do, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I know where Turtle Creek's at.
And then, no, you don't. It's in Dallas.
Oh, they have one in Ville Platte.
Oh, well.
Hot damn.
It's a place called Turtle Creek.
Oh, all right.
In Dallas. It's a state-funded facility.
No, I don't. I know everything I'm talking about, woman. Go ahead, bro.
But like the first guy that I really sponsored, who was willing to sit down and talk to me and whatnot, it was weird, right? Because I knew what to do, but at the same time, I'm new to doing this. You know what I mean? I'm used to the one being not talked to, right? But I'm the one who's sick. I'm the one who's suffering. Like, you're supposed to help me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How the hell am I going to help somebody else? You know, sick of fucking weirdo over here. You know what I mean? And now you're telling me to go help somebody else, right? But the feeling of leaving that first time, from leaving the house that he was at and getting to the car, it's unimaginable. Like the way I felt. It's one of those feelings that if I could feel that way every day, I'd probably start floating.
So how do you combat whenever they come to you for, like, so you get a call in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and but you're way out to where you can't reach them? Oh, by the way, it was Turkey Creek, not Turtle Creek.
What do you mean that I can't reach them?
Like you're not around them. Like say they're far away from you, and they're like Trev, I think I'm going to use again this and that. How do you talk somebody down from that point?
Give my experience with it. That's all I have is my experience. I can't give you an experience that I don't have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say I'm in New Mexico working, right, and I get a call like that, I've got other people that I can call and say, hey, look, this place right now, you know what I mean? And other people are willing to do that because they're in the same fucking boat. I've been there. Who shows up for me when I can't show up for myself? Those people do, right? Those people have been showing up for me since I was 15 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to show up when it's time to go, and other people show up for me. And I can ask other people to show up for somebody else when I can't.
This is a whole system, support system.
Absolutely, right? And that's what I was talking about with, like, people think it's just AA meetings, right? Like, I'm going to my AA meeting. And you've learned now that that's not the case, right? Like, there's a whole process that goes into it to actually do what we do, right? And then outside of that process, there's a whole nother process of making friends, hanging out with friends, doing other stuff that's not just like going to a meeting or going here. It's like, let's do something. Like, what do you like to do? I don't know. But I don't know. Help me. Let's figure this out, right? Let's go hiking. Let's go to a river. Let's go ride motorcycles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's just a bunch of people trying to figure out life and, like, help me. Help.
One of the interesting answers I got. So we were talking about, like we always do, whenever you got done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the weird things for me and Bloke and Jardo was cracking open that first beer.
Yeah.
Same thing I asked with Kylan. I asked him about Mardi Gras because down here, I don't care what anybody says. If you're from down here and you are in recovery from something and you're here from Mardi Gras, that is a test of a lot of things I'd find. Because
Mardi Gras was never big for me, though, because we always left for Mardi Gras. We always went to Colorado.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Mardi Gras never did it for me.
But, I mean, if somebody is going through a recovery process,
absolutely,
and they're here for Mardi Gras, you can go to a parade, especially in a small-town parade. Dude, that has to be talk about.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're throwing Jello shots off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
it's
you surround yourself with those kind of people. But y'all are at that point now to where we can go to the casino or we'll be at a place like Dewey's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's astonishing anymore because at first it was very hard to just even drink in front of y'all. Very hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's awkward. It's awkward on both ends. You know what I mean? It's like, well, do I tell him not to? Do I let him? Like, what do I do? And it's like, no, just be a fucking normal human.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
be normal.
Exactly. And that's where it got to the point because now we're old enough to where we've been around each other enough. I think for most people, if you're going through that, like you have a friend who's been through the recovery process and you don't know what boundaries to overstep and which ones not to, they'll let you know because you said honesty is one of the biggest parts of your recovery process. If that's the code of it, they'll let you know whenever something's making them uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I learned, right, I've got a little bit of experience now, right, of staying sober, right? Got a few years under my belt, so I've had some experiences where I drive everywhere I go, right? If I'm going to hang out with friends, I'm driving because if I want to leave, I'm leaving, and you're not telling me no. I'm fucking leaving. Fuck you, I'm leaving, right? And I've learned some places that I don't need to go. You know what I mean? Like the strip club's not the place for me.
I don't like the strip club I don't believe you should get the car started if you ain't gonna drive it.
That's fair. But I never understood it anyway, right? And then I went sober. I've only been to one strip club and it was sober, and I did not get it. I don't get it, right? It's a weird place because it's weird for me, right? I never understood it, but I was with a buddy who wanted to go, and I was driving him around, right? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's a fucking weird waste of money to me. Some people don't get the casino. They don't get it. I love the casino. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
I mean, I won the past 2 times I went too, so.
Well,
I mean,
but it's just the simple fact of you learn what you can and can't do, right? Some people can do certain things that I can't, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Some people think it's retarded the amount of money I spend on motorcycles. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use that word.
But this is Unwoken. We don't give a fuck.
It's my deal, right? It's my deal. Some people think it's stupid how much money is spent on motorcycles, right? And I think it's stupid that you don't do it, right? If you understood the freedom that I get doing that, some people get it from doing MMA training or fighting, and you get it from a podcast. You know what I mean?
It's like you're on the Geico commercial, riding the motorcycle.
A little bit different.
A little bit different?
A little bit different. I don't have to wear a helmet in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
So you ride without the helmet?
Oh, yeah.
You let that hair. Yeah, you do the definition of the Jonte. Scate, stick your tongue out the window, let your tongue flap like a dog.
Pretty much.
T-Ray. Put your head. Your head can go out the window. Let your tongue flap like a dog.
But you know what I mean? Unless I was on my street bike. If I was on my street bike, I wore my helmet because I rode it a little bit differently. If that makes sense.
Rode that motherfucker fast, huh?
Not always. Not always.
It's the fastest you ever got it up to.
Which one?
The street bike.
Fast.
Like vroom vroom fast?
Yeah. Well, I had the opportunity, right? That I had left my Indian over here, and my buddy has a Busa back in Odessa, and he let me ride his Busa for a few weeks, and I wasn't gonna abuse it because it's not mine, right? But before you know it, you're doing like 140, 150, not even trying on those bikes. It's crazy.
See, if I was a motorcycle guy and I had my custom bike, my bike would be the one with the low rider with the handlebars. Because I've never drove something that's lifted up. I like my low riding cars, man. I remember whenever your dad first got the Corvette, he couldn't go over the speed bump in Youngsville by the school.
Yeah. What a time.
I have to do it. I have to turn the wheel so tight whenever I'm pulling out of Kevin's. Because that's so steep, man. It's so steep. But, all right, another one for you.
Okay.
Looking back at it now, was making amends with people one of the hardest things of that process? Did you ever have a bad experience making amends with somebody?
No. I've had some amends that didn't go the way I thought they would go, right? Good or bad. I think some of the amends, though, that are the hardest is the ones that I've been told not to make. right? Like, just leave those fucking people alone. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, there's some people in life that I just need to leave alone. Right?
Oh,
like I've caused some damage to some people that I should just like, hey, right? If it comes up, right, and I see somebody somewhere, like, yeah, do that, right? Like, attempt to make it right. But there's some people where it's like, I feel like I should, and it's like, no.
It's like questioning whether or not to say you're sorry about something.
Well, an amends is not about sorry at all. At all.
It's about making it right.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you know what an amends is?
Well, yeah, but wouldn't saying you're sorry be trying to make it right, too?
No.
It wouldn't?
No.
Different things?
I mean, how many times you've heard sorry from somebody doing, you know what I mean? Like me going back, right? How many times, oh, I'm sorry for doing this, I'm sorry for that, right? And I never changed behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it was described to me and the way I've been taught to do it is you don't ever say sorry. It's what can I do to make this right? This is what I've done, direct action, and this is what I can do. What can I do to make it right? Right? Same thing I did to you whenever I came to you with some stuff, right? I didn't say I was sorry at all. This is what I did. What can I do to make it right? And yes, part of it is, yes, I am sorry, right? Mm-hmm. But I was working with this Hispanic guy, right? And I kept yelling at him, right? I'm on this land, leading this landscape crew, and I kept yelling at him because I'm ready to get home, and he's trying to make a couple extra dollars, right? Doing what he does or doing what we did, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, let's fucking go. Like, I'm ready to leave. Let's go. And every morning I'd come in, not every morning, but right, I'd come in and, hey, man, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And there was a language barrier there. He didn't speak much English. I don't speak much Spanish. I can do enough to get by with work in the landscape industry, but, you know, I can't have a full-blown conversation with somebody. But there was a guy there who was truly bilingual, and they were having a conversation, and this guy who's bilingual was also sober at the time. He still may be, I don't know. But he said he's tired of you saying sorry because it does nothing. Change the behavior, and he'll know you're actually sorry.
Bingo.
And it finally hit me then, right? Like, I'm a year and a half, I was almost 2 years sober at this time, right? And that's what it took to make me truly understand, like, you know what? I've got to actually, like, change my behavior. I can't just say, oh, man, I was wrong, I'm sorry, right? And not do anything about it.
Shit, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It made sense to me, you know?
Hell, man, I remember I was on my way back, I think from Destin, maybe. Whenever that was the first time I talked to you in close to a year and a half, and just seeing your name called, dude, it like made me forget everything that happened, because I knew that, it's like I told you that day too. Some of the things I said were wrong as well. And it made me think, whenever I saw your name, I'm like, it's Trev.
But you could have told me to go fuck myself, right?
Yeah.
And I did what I needed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I made the effort, right? I was willing to do something different and say, you know what, I was wrong. But we set up a time and I came see you, right? That's what it was, part of the process.
Oh, what I mean? Honestly, that's one of the best things that ever happened, because, I mean, I remember everything. Our friend group was completely just...
It was a weird time.
It was a very
and
weird
then
time.
I left, you know what I mean? Like, a couple months later, I was in fucking rehab. Well, jail and then rehab, and you know.
But that's what shows... what the greatness about our group of friends is, dude, whenever people say they've been through some shit with their friends,
yeah.
I mean, 21 years, dude. That is. They had that little post on Facebook. Whatever. How many people can say you've been friends with you have the same friends for 10 years? Now, how many of you can say 20? I said, motherfucker, I can say 21. What you want?
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. You know what I mean? But getting out of Louisiana, right? Like, I've lived in Louisiana since then, right? But it was only for, like, really a month or two, right? And it's the same thing everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, being able to go somewhere and make friends and essentially get that connection with other people and understand different cultures and the way other people go about stuff, right? It's fantastic. It really is. right? There's nothing like Louisiana, though. There's nothing like this area, culture-wise and food, the niceness of people here, right? People are
happiest city in the country.
I don't know about all that, right? I don't truly know that. I mean, there's
on ABC a few years back.
Whatever. I don't know.
I'll take it. I'll claim the title.
Claim it. You should.
There really isn't nothing like, because I remember I wanted to get the fuck out of Louisiana for a while too.
I don't think I'll ever move back here though. I really don't.
Probably best because it's in your best.
No, not at all.
You just like where you're at.
I like where I'm at, right? People call it a shithole and it's not the nicest place, blah, blah, blah. But I love it there.
But it works for you.
I love it there, right? Eventually I want to move somewhere where there's mountains and stuff. You know what I mean? I find peace there, but that's not in the cards. And, you know, maybe he has me move somewhere else later, you know?
See, my peace is going to be whenever I buy my condo in Destin.
Yeah, fuck that place. If I never go back to the beach, I will be fine.
I know how you
If I never go back to the beach, I would not. It wouldn't bother me at all.
I love it too. Dude, I feel like I'm in my comfort zone whenever I step into the water.
And that's how I am with like the mountain areas, dude. I fucking love it.
Dude, now watching Yellowstone though, I want to fucking go. Have you seen Yellowstone yet?
No,
dude.
I probably won't watch it. I haven't even seen the Jordan documentary. I haven't even started it. None of it. I don't watch much TV. I'm not kidding, dude. I ride my motorcycle a lot. A lot. That's what I do.
And you were around Jeffrey and you didn't see the Jordan documentary.
I know.
Bruh. The fact that I got Miranda and Alex and Karen to be looking forward every Sunday to that documentary and you haven't seen it.
I haven't even started manning the arena.
I haven't either. Well, y'all, we're going to end it here. We got a game to play. 2 games to play. But that's T-Ray. Trev. You. Awesome, man. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
You're the man. That's my brother. I'm Scott Davis. This is Unwoken. God bless. Take care. And I'm going to see your asses next week.